Tonight is the last talk of the Heart Sutra. Finally, it's over. It's a page long. We have spoken about it about a year and a half. Who has so many words to say about this text? We began April 2023. Now it's October. What have you learned from the Heart Sutra? What is the takeaway? How many of you have been here since the beginning? Okay. Since you raised your hands, then I get to know who to call. Kiki, what is the takeaway? What is your takeaway from all this? Can you pass this mic to Maria? Yeah.
That there is the experienced reality, but at the center there is emptiness at it. And all of the 5 skandhas that we have are constructed into that experience.
Okay. Who else raised their hand? Anna, what's your takeaway? What stood out of all these teachings?
That I could move far from confusion and fear, like 2 inches, or I could move, or it could be on the other side of the horizon. So, or not at all. But that's up to me. But luckily, I'm interconnected with everybody, so I get some help. Yeah.
Confusion and fear. And moving away from that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the constructs, fabrications, but, when I recognize them and they arise,
you put it down. When
Yes.
they arise, put it down.
put it down. Yes, just like Xingyan. Yes.
Okay. John.
I haven't been here for every talk. I've been here sporadically, but I've read the Heart Sutra many times, so I read it. Whenever I find myself in a stressful situation or a situation I don't like, I come back to a line where it says, there's no aging in death and no ending of aging and death. And that kind of puts things in perspective for me. Even though I'm very unhappy now or if something's going on, it's a process, but there's no ending of aging and death. It's maybe it'll turn out better down the line, So, and I actually reiterated that to my son today. He was talking about something. I said, but anyway, that it's all a process.
Okay. Thank you. Someone on this side? You want to pass this mic to? Yeah.
Something that I go back to is that our brain has never been outside of our head, so that the senses that bring the information that's already secondhand and suspect in terms of, what we see, what we're really seeing, what we're really hearing. We've been conditioned to label things and use words and language, whereas we can aspire to lose the words and language and just to see, just to hear, and not try to interpret it.
Okay. Good. Hi, Joe.
Well, when you ask, the first thing appeared in my mind is that there's nothing to attain. That's the first thing come. And it remind me about the, I'm glad I think back about the earliest talk. You talk about sound meditation, meditation to sound.
Yeah.
And that was really a unique experience, which is by I'm breathing sound until the sound is not there. So I get a personal experience about having and without having, there but it's not there. So that kind of emptiness and embracement really stay with me. So I think that's what I can think about so far.
Good. Okay. Sarah.
I think similarly to Hai Chong, the emphasis on sound meditation during the first few months, just embodying sound. There's nothing that's listening. It's just kind of, it's just there. And then later on in the talk series, you talked a lot about like everything is made up of everything else, like relationships. The cup is made up of non-cup. And that's something I'll remember. And the third thing is practicing with an ordinary mind, just very kind of relaxed, just practicing, not making a thing out of it. Those are the three things that I learned.
Okay. Do you have anything? You've been here for many of the talks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything in particular.
Okay.
Instead of just like zoning out all the time.
Okay. Corey? No? Okay. Gita? There's a mic there. Yeah.
Well, kind of along the lines that many people have said, my basic takeaway is that that the things we see and touch and hear, they're manufactured by our brains to appear the way they are. And in fact, they're empty. And your last talk, you said that all of that was preliminary to get to the end, which was the whole point of the Heart Sutra, which is, yes, all these phenomena that we encounter with the senses are empty, but what is real is prajnaparamita, which you translated as transcendent wisdom. So that's my takeaway, is that is the reality. So it's not nothingness, it's transcendent wisdom. And I'm not sure what that is, but it's nice to know.
Okay. In one of the talks, I spoke about prajna, transcendent wisdom. The freedom. You can understand it as freedom. today, well, before we get to this, so each of you have your takeaways. Each of you have remembered different things. The way to remember things is to use it in practice, to make it yours, right? In times of trouble, turbulence, right? We use the mind. No birth and death, no ending of birth and death. Or when we hear criticism, right? The sound, no sound. Other teachings. I spoke about the Heart Sutra from many different perspectives. The Heart Sutra itself covers many different perspectives, from the Four Noble Truths to 12 link chains of dependent origination, to the 18 realms of six sense faculties, six sense object, corresponding 6 cognitive moments, to realizing of wisdom, nirvana, to the relinquishment of a reified notion of attainment, right? Nothing to attain. So it covers everything. The Heart Sutra covers everything. What constitutes a human being and our world, our relationships. And the reason why it covers these aspects is because it is precisely these aspects that we cannot put down, that we are hindered, we are obstructed. We're not free. Beginning with the 5 skandhas of ourselves. Right? Form, sensation, perception, volition, consciousness. These are things that we can't put down. Hence we have fear. We have confusion. Right? And other ways of coming at this are 6 sense faculties, organs, 6 sense corresponding objects. We can't put it down. Very hard. To a temporal perspective of fundamental ignorance, to birth and death. Right? 12 link chains. Even when we put them down, we think we have put them down. We're left with a sense of attainment. Right? Nothing to attain. Having, lacking, gaining, losing, success, failure. Even spiritual paths can become an object of attachment. So the Heart Sutra dismantles that. So if there is a main point of the Heart Sutra, what do you think that would be? Put it down. So it goes through different ways in which we grasp, identify things, and it deconstructs that. And that putting it down, becoming free, that's prajna. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that is the Buddha's message. That's the Buddha's message. That we are free. We don't have to be tethered, conditioned by sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, thought. Right? The forms that we see, sounds that we hear, the ideas that we have, feelings that we have, that we're caught up with. Gives us a sense of fixed identity. Me, I, mine. Put that down. We can fully utilize them, all of our intelligence, resources, but none of them define you. So if there is a main message to the Heart Sutra, put down. Put down. When we can put down, then all of our resources will become available. Pick it up. Right? You can't pick up things if you can't put down. Right? So the grasping hand has to put down, then free. Can pick up something. Right? What is it that binds us? Whatever we cannot put down, that's our obstruction. Put down doesn't mean we don't need it anymore. It's empty. Throw it out the window. It means your sense of freedom is not defined by whether you have it or lack it. Your happiness is not defined by all the things we can put down. Right? So, that's prajna. So whenever you can't put down sight, sounds, the things that you hear people say, the things you're witnessing, things that you're experiencing, whenever vexations are stirred, you bring forth the Heart Sutra teachings that will remind you this principle put down. That's the core. And when you can put down, then the Heart Sutra says, you can pick up. Right? All past, present, future Buddhas attaining, right? Pick it up. Annuttara-samyak-sambodhi. Annuttara-samyak-sambodhi means supreme or unsurpassable correct awakening. Annuttara means unsurpassable. Samyak means correct. Sambodhi, utmost. Bodhi, wisdom, awakening. So when we can put down, then we realize this supreme awakening of the Buddhas embodies the function of that wisdom. And the function is compassion, responsive to the needs of sentient beings. Unhindered, unsurpassable. The reason we're unable to respond is because we're hindered. Right? The reason we're hindered because we're caught up. So unsurpassable, correct, precise, supreme awakening is the function of that is great wisdom, the realization of the Buddhas. So the flip side of the core teaching of the Heart Sutra, to put down. Flip side of that, to pick it up. Right? So this is a very simple way to talk about it. In fact, the whole Prajnaparamita literature is focused on shunyata. Is about the reason for the teaching for the shunyata, emptiness, is to put down. Right? The beginning of the emergence, if you recall, those of you who were here in the very beginning, the emergence of the Prajnaparamita literature was around 1st century BCE. By 4th, 5th century CE, we already have 400 or 500 years of this particular kind of teaching. And 4th, 5th century CE, we begin to see condensations of the Prajnaparamita literature. Short teachings, condensed, compact. That would be the Heart Sutra as an example. Second one, Diamond Sutra. Later developed Prajnaparamita teachings. In the Prajnaparamita teachings, three distinct features. One, foremost, shunyata, emptiness. The purpose of which is to put it down. Right? To put down all the categories, compartmentalization, even the Buddha's Dharma teachings. Right? So it was a response to earlier Buddhist traditions of the Abhidharma literature, of compartmentalizing all these different dharmas, reified notions, stratified kind of hierarchies, stages of the path, put it down. Right? So it was a response to that. Second distinct feature is the path. It lays out the path of practice in a very thoroughgoing manner. That's built on the foundation of early Buddhism. It's not an abandonment of early Buddhism, it's on that base. Right? So the teaching of 5 skandhas, 18 realms, 12 link chains is the infrastructure. And not being caught up with these categorizations, the Prajnaparamita taught the relinquishment of even these notions. Right? Lays out the path. Third distinct feature is bodhicitta, bodhi mind. Not constricted by the notion of leaving samsara in order to realize nirvana. The soteriological goal shifted away from liberation, self-liberation, to Buddhahood. In order to reach Buddhahood, we have to be with sentient beings, live with sentient beings, interact with sentient beings, offering one's life for the sake of sentient beings, for the benefit. That is the requirement of Buddhahood. Perfecting generosity, perfecting ethics, right? The complex ethical situations of life, perfecting that. Perfecting patience, right? Endurance, perfecting diligence, perfecting meditation practice, perfecting skillful means, wisdom, all of which depend on sentient beings. All of them. That's the prerequisite of Buddhahood. And that distinguishes an arhat from a full Buddha. Right? So this third distinct feature of the Mahayana tradition, besides the two. So we have shunyata, laying out a thoroughgoing path practice, and bodhicitta, bodhi mind, altruistic, selfless, compassion, driven by one's vows to save all beings, to be with all beings. So these three distinct features, the condensation of which is here, the Heart Sutra. So if someone were to ask you, what is the teaching of the Heart Sutra? Put it down, pick it up. Say, what? Go to the YouTube and watch Guo Gu's talks. All 17 of those damn long talks, right? Basically, put it down. Right? All the ways in which we can't put down. Then you're going to go to the teachings. Why? Why can't you put down the 5 skandhas? Why can't you put down the sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, thought? 12 link chains. Does that make sense? So, and the practices that I've introduced during this series, from Avalokiteshvara's own practice of contemplating hearing to contemplation of the 5 skandhas, to the Mahayana teachings of signless emptiness, non-abiding, the practice of contemplation of emptiness. A little harder, so you may not have remembered. The practice of letting go. That is, not allowing the mind to abide, to dwell, to rest anywhere, where nothing sticks, yet vivid, clear. Right? Usually, we have to begin with something stick. Your method, the breath, or the body, sensation. Right? Use it as an anchor. So the contemplation of emptiness, signlessness, allow the mind to be wakeful, rest in non-abiding. Nothing sticks. Right? So that's a practice. And in daily life, I spoke about the practice of being free from the notion of gaining and losing, particularly when we got to the passage of no attainment. All of our lives we've been driven by a sense of attainment, acquire, success, failure, right? All of our lives. 名利权位势 fame, profit, power, status, influence, I added another one, sensuality. Right? So this should be like mantra in your mind. Like we have to first recognize it, put a label to it, like when we're chasing after things. Right? The problem is not these 5 or 6 things. The problem is our self-referential grasping. For example, we're raising funds. We're raising funds to build the resident hall for long-term practitioners to live at the site, to deepen the practice. So we definitely need money, wealth, we need it. But it's not for any one person. It's for the sake of the continuation of sincere, deeply experienced practitioners who will continue the Chan lineage. That's a very important goal. So it's not the object that is a problem. It's our self-referential attachment, a sense of gaining, attaining something, or trying to escape something. So both of these polarities, put it down. Responding to what needs to be done, what can be done. So practice for the sake of others. That's the Heart Sutra message. The meaning and its use, its function, definitely not for us to acquire more knowledge of it, of Buddha Dharma. Knowledge is not so useful. It's just symbols, ideas, concepts. The way we embody the Heart Sutra, its teachings, the core message, the ways that we don't feel free, that we feel bound, we feel conflict with people, stuck. Loosen the grasping hand. The Heart Sutra was used for many different purposes in the history of Buddhism. The line that we have left is not that much. All past, let me just read it. Okay, all past, present, future Buddhas attain annuttara-samyak-sambodhi, relying on prajnaparamita. Right? This is the path that they've taken. Therefore, we have to know that prajnaparamita, there's a hiatus here. There's a jump in logic here, actually. It says, therefore, know that prajnaparamita is the great mantra of power. What? Mantra? What is this mantra coming out of? Like all of a sudden, this mantra. Right? We'll talk about that. The great mantra of wisdom. Supreme mantra, unequalled mantra, which is able to remove all suffering. It is real and not false. What's the mantra? It says, therefore recite the mantra of prajnaparamita. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, Bodhi Svaha. Right? What's this business about mantra? This is because the Heart Sutra and like the Diamond Sutra were condensation of the Prajnaparamita wisdom literature that existed probably around 4th, 5th century. And 4th, 5th century India, there emerged a movement called mantra yana. Right? So we have Hinayana, Mahayana, mantra yana. This is the emergent during that particular time. So it's like the Heart Sutra, compilers of Heart Sutra felt compelled to catch up with the times, what's famous, what's hip around that time. Well, let's create a mantra, put it there, But mantras are usually phonic. So the Gate Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate is very unique. It's not quite a mantra. Mantra, the emphasis on the sound, usually is incomprehensible. But Gate Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhi Svaha, this is understandable, right? And it's written. So what it's really saying is, it's a kind of a twist on the current movement of the development of Buddhism. During that time, everyone's focusing on mantra, right? Which is spells. And during the 4th, 5th century, the spells were used as sources of power, tied to particular deities to manifest some worldly benefits. So this is the earliest phase of Tantric Buddhism, 4th, 5th century. It's very different than later. It hasn't evolved into like 7th, 8th, 9th century Tantra. It's a class of text that focuses on speedy attainment of Buddhahood. Not doing 4th, 5th century. That comes later. So at this phase is a kind of drawing from contemporaneous sources, influences of maybe non-Buddhist practices, Tantra, and gives it a spin. What is the ultimate tantric practice of mantra? In the mantra vehicle, mantra yana, is not some syllable, right? It's actually wisdom, right? So this mantra is not like other mantras. Recited for worldly attainment, like the non-Buddhist tradition of the time. In Buddhism, we got our mantra too. What is that? Put down. Pick up. That's the mantra. Right? So when he says gate, gate, it actually should be gata. This is the past tense. It's the past participle of gone, of going. But so it's a little peculiar here. That's it's gate, G-A-T-E. Right? But there's a lot of peculiarities with this mantra. It's gate, gate, gone, gone. Paragate, gone beyond. Parasamgate, completely gone beyond. Right? Bodhi, awakening. Right? Svaha is typically added in the Brahmanical tradition at the end of a sacrificial rite as a way to expedite its completion, fulfillment of this particular whatever ritual. So svaha, right? It's almost like an exclamation point. It's like a blessing for it to happen. Right? So what is it wishing for it to happen? Bodhi. Awakening. What is awakening? Put down. Right? Pick up. So it's almost like a critique of the contemporary notions of what mantra is supposed to do in the non-Buddhist tradition. Everyone's using mantra to get some worldly benefit, right? So the Buddha said, yeah, we got our mantra too. Not phonic. It's written down. What is it? Gone. Gone. Gone beyond. Completely gone. What is it? It's like a blessing. Right? What is gone? Vexations. Entanglement. Fear. Confusion. How? Bodhi. Become Bodhi. See? Wisdom. That's the meaning of this. You could say, gone, gone, gone beyond from samsara to nirvana. Right? The sutra already says there's no nirvana. There's no attainment. Here, nirvana right here. Right? When you put down, nirvana. When you pick up, it's functional wisdom. Right? So, it serves as a, you could say, this passage, it functions like a performative text. Right? It's a command. It's a command. It's not expository, like, 5 skandhas are empty, and here's why they're empty. Let me intellectually explain it to you. This mantra, it's like, gone, gone, put it down, awaken. You see? So it's performative. It instills and encourages action. You see? So that's the Prajnaparamita mantra. So you can use it that way. So this is like the last method that the sutra offers to the readers. Right? Not like you still have a lot of vexations, so you no. When you have vexations, see through. Gone. Right? Gone beyond. Put down. Awakening. Svaha. May it be so. May it be so. And where is this awakening? It's here. This freedom is here. That's why there's no need to acquire, right? Grasp, attain, as if before you don't have it, and only if you go through some practice, then you have it. If something can be gained, it could be lost. It's not about gaining or losing. You already have it. Right? When we are freed from the entanglement, how? Meditation on shunyata. Nothing sticks. Unfazed. What needs to be done, what can be done. Selfless action, which is compassion. So when we have vexations, don't use this gate mantra to suppress something else or wish for something else. So bring it back. The wisdom is here. Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhi Svaha. See if there's anything else. That's it. Yes, please. Microphone.
Can you go over the second of the three that you were talking about, the path of practice?
The unique feature. First one, shunyata. Second, the course of practice. Third, bodhicitta. Right? The practice, usually people see the prajnaparamita literature as not providing path of practice. Right? Usually. The text, and also with connected to the Prajnaparamita, the schools that emerged in India, the Madhyamika, the middle path school, doesn't seem to provide a path. That's because its path is very unique. All systems of path, all mentalities, constructs of path are always sequential, gradual. Right? Like early Buddhist teachings. Later, Abhidharma teachings, very stratified. Right? And also Yogacara teachings, consciousness only, complex stages of practice, the path. The Madhyamika, or the Prajnaparamita, the path, the ground, the foundation, the path, foundation means its outlook, its basic outlook on self, others, and the world. Okay? The foundation, the path, and the goal. These three collapses into one. So the Madhyamika, or the middle way school, or the emptiness school, its notion of path is what we call sudden, in sync with the principle of Chan. It doesn't provide, lay out a graduated, first stage you do this, then you do that, then next you do this. So the insight of the first principle, shunyata, is the path. See? So the path is founded on emptiness. Now this emptiness doesn't deny all the previously taught practices and the stages of practice. You see? It's like this room. This room, the nature of this room is spacious. Right? The furniture can be varied. So the notion of a path based on perfection of wisdom is like the space. It encompasses all paths, right? Except the way we practice path, the methods of practice, the rituals, is in alignment with the attainment and the foundation. And that is nothing to attain, already free. So it encompasses Eightfold Path, 6 perfections. It encompasses 37 stages of 37 aids to awakening, spoken about in early Buddhism. Includes all of that. But the view is no attainment. No relinquishment. Yet, practice. So the Prajnaparamita, if you look at the larger version in this genre of literature, it talks about all the practices, methods of early Buddhism, especially the early Prajnaparamita. You know, Eightfold Path, 5 points of sitting in mind, 4 stations of mindfulness, 7 factors of awakening, 5 root, 5 power. Add it all together. Anyway, add it all together, 37 aids, which is, that's what practice is. You see? So, that distinctiveness of the Prajnaparamita literature, and as in terms of the path, lies in the view of the path. You can engage in all kinds of practices, Dharma practices, but the views that guide that is wisdom. Does that answer your question?
Can you maybe give an example of how that's sort of put in practice?
Okay. So, for example, 4 foundations of mindfulness, part of the 37 aids. Usually 4 foundations of mindfulness body, sensation, mind, and dharmas. Okay? And there's a sequence to that. Why is the body first? And then followed by sensation. And then contemplating a mind. And then contemplating all the dharmas. Here, dharma could be 18 realms. 18 realms. 6 sense faculty, 6 sense object, 6 corresponding practices. In the beginning, maybe too complex. So we have to start with the body. Easily accessible. So it's presented in a graduated stage. If you look at the Satipatthana Sutta, the contemplation of the body, it's even within the body, there are multiple ways of contemplating the body. Right? So the easiest way is just learn to be with the body. Right? The body postures. Stand up, you know the body is standing. Walking, you know the body is walking. Right? Sitting, you know the body is sitting. Most people go through life, their body and mind are split. So the mind is having wandering thoughts while the body is doing all kinds of stuff. So at least put it together. Right? Once a person is able to kind of being with the body, then one will start to notice the sensations, of which there are 3 basic rubrics. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. So to contemplate that. And then one can get into the mind that contemplates. So on and so forth. So all these are sequential. Now, through the Prajnaparamita, right from the beginning, the body. Right? The problem with practicing with the body, and if you practice with the Satipatthana, it talks about the 4 stations of mindfulness. So standing, you're aware of standing. Sitting, you're aware of sitting. Walking, you're aware. Lying, you're aware. The problem with that is the person becomes attached to the body. And the particular behaviors, when one practices like that, it becomes like a very unnatural way of carrying oneself, like a robot. You know? So you have these side effects of long-time practitioners of reifying, solidifying the body and the particular awareness one's supposed to be aware. Right? Moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. Observe, observe, observe. So it becomes a very rigid thing, like you're walking around constantly observing. Oh, last moment I wasn't aware. It's a very controlled, contrived. It becomes that kind of practice. So the view of prajnaparamita is there's no body. In the midst of movement, no movement. Just relax into that. In the midst of seeing, no seeing. There's a very subtle difference. If you don't say that, then you're seeing, you start to reify what is it that you're seeing. The containers start to happen. This is walking, which is different than lying, and that's different, definitely, from standing, and it's totally different than sitting. See? So if you rest into the true nature of reality, in the midst of movement, motionless. Motionless, quiescent, yet things are done. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. So this view becomes extremely important to prevent from the side effect of reification, solidification. Does that make sense? Same thing with all the different stages of practice. All the side effect is sidestepped. I'm on the second jhana now. Oh, good job. No jhana, no attainment. You see? Because the mind wants to have something to hold on to. It doesn't want to let go. Right? So the more stratified stages you give it, now they start to collect experiences. Before you're into material stuff, I let that go. Now I'm into experiences, jhana. So right from the beginning, no attainment. Right from the beginning, yet engage. So active engagement. Soon as you see the mind start to reify something, make it into a thing, let go. Yet engage. See? So when he came to China, the Chinese, totally different cultural environment, very pragmatic, not analytical at all, very poetic. You can see the language itself, it's not phonic, syllabic. The language itself is half picture, half symbolism. So the language itself is elusive, metaphorical, poetic, picturesque, visual. So you just put the practice of prajnaparamita in an everyday language, embodied. What does it mean to not reify, let go, put down, and yet pick up? So the Chinese put it, ordinary mind is the way. Because what it really comes down to, the ways in which we reify and attach material or Dharma teachings, the way we attach is the very nature of that, characteristic feature of that process is we make a thing out of everything. You see? So in that sense, everything's extraordinary. Vexations, big deal. Wisdom attainment, big deal. Right? It's extraordinary. So Maju says, ordinary. Right? It's all good. Ordinary mind. Not reifying, not solidifying, not making anything into an extraordinary thing. So when it comes to the ordinary mind is the way. Unfazed. Not try to get rid of, not to chase after either. Yet active, engaged with life. Ordinary mind is the way. So it's like another way of articulating this principle. So every teaching, perhaps Chan included, has the potential, just because the way we receive it is through language, has that potential to be made into a thing. When there's a thing, then there's before, and then there's after. Successive attainments, and then there are stages. Gradual path. So the Prajnaparamita literature, everything's empty. Emptiness is also empty. Thereby you truly attain. You see? So it's kind of like putting a particular, casting a particular veil over all the previous teachings. So the way that one practices the 37 A's to awakening, which encapsulates all the early Buddhist teachings, 37. Right? The way it engages with these practices is through the lens of shunyata. Diligent practice, nothing to attain. No before, no after. So non-attachment. And that can be said to be the core message of the Buddha. Core message of the Buddha. Not self. Not self. Okay?
Yeah, so it's basically meditation, but viewing it through the idea of emptiness, shunyata, and non-attachment, and putting down, and emptiness. I think I already said that, but
Yeah.
that's essentially
Active engagement.
active engagement.
Active engagement. Yet empty. So the activity includes the third principle. So between first shunyata and the third bodhicitta, they sound like mutually exclusive things, right? Between these two is the path. Once a person engages in the path, these two are folded in to the way one practices. And that way is with the foundation, the basic outlook to oneself, others, and the world. It's basically shunyata. The path of practice, it doesn't matter what method you use, basically shunyata. So the attainment is also shunyata. Not for oneself anymore. So the notion of I want to reach nirvana, I want to get rid of samsara, shunyata. So there's no need to try to get something, try to get rid of something. So everything collapses. And yet perfect the Bodhisattva practices. Bodhicitta, altruistic mind of awakening for all beings. Right? So emptiness and active engagement with the world collapses in the path. Nothing is denied. Samsara is not denied anymore. Right? It's the playground of the Bodhisattva to realize Buddhahood.
Is active engagement like mindfulness with what's right in front of you, what you're directly experiencing, or is something else?
It includes mindfulness, but it's more than just mindfulness. It includes all the practices of generosity, right? What I've listed, generosity, ethics, the complexity of morality, ethics, patience, diligence, all the meditation practices, right? Wisdom, including the skillfulness of wisdom. Does that make sense? So it's more than just mindful, like we associate mindfulness with seated meditation or daily life, but proactively helping those in need, those who need help, right? Offering your time, offering your energy, your skill, generosity, you see, and engaging with difficult people, right? Because it is through them that you perfect patience. Through them that you perfect diligence. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it encompasses all the different practices. Yeah. So with this understanding, if you want to review the teachings of the Heart Sutra, with these few principles, you can look back at the videos carefully, and you see what is actually being taught. So, putting down, pick it up. Emptiness. Okay. Any other question? Yeah, Kita? See if the folks online have questions. Encourage them to write it out and you can read it.
Can you suggest some practical practices that we could use to get accustomed to this way of seeing things? So it appears that you're saying have this view of emptiness, prajnaparamita, in mind as you like start a practice, go into a practice like maybe counting the breath or whatever. So at the beginning of that, is it helpful to kind of remind ourselves this is empty?
You could do it that way. I've spoken about a lot of different approaches throughout this series. Right? Guo Gu has his own way of kind of explaining this type of thing. So when Guo Gu sometimes says, vexations come, right? It's all good. That's actually prajnaparamita.
Yeah.
You try your best, you solve it, all good. You try your best, you can't solve it, well, it's not your problem anymore because you tried. Therefore, it's all good too. See?
Right. So that's really emptiness, prajnaparamita.
That's emptiness, yet engagement.
Yeah.
You see? So just behind that simple teaching, there's very profound depth of experiences that one can actually, so you can go deep into what does it mean. If you go try to understand this intellectually, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean it's all good? You know, I'm not talking about intellectual, conceptual. I'm talking about a method. Right? Why is it that it's not good? What is coming up within oneself? There is your path. The path unfolds from within. I'm attached to my reputation. That's why when I'm not acknowledged by people, I get a little pissed off, right? I'm attached to status, or I'm attached to this. That. Why is it? It's not good. Why? Right? Because my view, right? The reality is, it's all good. Right? Not only are you free, all beings are already free. Already free. But they don't see that. All we see is just all the muck, all the stuff that we get caught up with. That required the Buddha to go into the 5 skandhas teaching. See?
So in terms of the it's all good, is it accurate to say then that this teaching, the Heart Sutra teaching, is put it down and what remains is what's always been there, which is prajnaparamita?
It's not sequential like that. It's not like after you put it down,
Oh, no.
then what remains is even when
It's
you don't
always
put down, prajnaparamita is there.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
But you can perceive it clearly
Yeah.
when you put it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So first it requires us to expose why we aren't free. It's about us, why we aren't free. If it's the true culprit is outside, then everyone should have the same response. Clearly, when other people hear this person say something, they're fine with it. It's just that you're not fine with it. It's about you. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's a history to why you are the way you are. So when we expose vexations, we have to embrace, take up the responsibility. It's about me. I'm caught. Why am I caught? Because I really reified the word jerk. When he called me a jerk, that gets my fire going. You see? We have attached. If you don't understand English, you jerk. I gave it that analogy, right? When I first came to America, right? My aunt was driving right off the airplane. Someone flipped us the bird. And I was like, something's on our roof. Auntie, someone's on our roof. And she's like, no, nothing's on the roof. Keep quiet. Because she's a bad driver, so people are flipping her off. You know? So if you don't understand it, no vexations. You understand it. You just made it into a thing. You're caught. Right? You're not free anymore. Perception. It's not to say you shouldn't just be an idiot. Like, I don't recognize anything. Yeah. And that's bliss. Ignorance is bliss. I'm not saying that. Engage with the world. This world of cesspool, that's what samsara is, the cesspool of suffering, is the arena of the perfections. Prajnaparamita, dana-paramita, generosity, patience, diligence. This is the arena. So,
Can you maybe talk about how to deal with difficult people? Because I feel like 24/7, every day, I do nothing but deal with difficult people. So I had to kind of laugh when you mentioned that.
yeah.
And I don't know why they're always being so fragile and angry at me, and I don't know why they're being so unreasonably difficult. And maybe you have some advice on.
Yeah, difficult people. Difficult people. First of all, they're difficult to you. They're difficult for you. Some people don't trigger you. Other people trigger you. So you have to recognize that. Some people say the same words. You're okay with it. But those people say those words. It gets to you. Right?
A little bit, but it's sort of like people seem to be constantly like angry at me for no reason, and then I feel like I need to tread on eggshells because I don't want to like hurt their feelings because they clearly are like hurt themselves apparently, and so I don't want to. I feel like it's mean to like be mad at them back, and so it's like I'm constantly trying to be like nicer, 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 and I can't possibly be nicer.
Yeah. So, trying to be nice, don't want to be offensive, but other people are constantly appear to be very angry at you, and that would cause you to behave as if you're walking on eggshells because you don't really want to offend them, and you're trying to be nice and nicer and nicer and nicer, but they're still like that. Ordinary mind. Don't make a thing out of it. So do you have a tendency of trying to please other people? So not make other people angry at you? So you don't want to offend them?
It's really more that I feel like
You should probably use the mic, right?
about them being angry at me. It's that they seem to be really hurt and upset, and I don't want to like make them even more hurt.
Yeah, but it may not be about you. The fact that you're affected by this, you deal with that part. You just deal with what come up within you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why am I? Is everyone walking on eggshell? Right?
Is that a question?
Yeah. Everyone seems to be okay?
I guess.
Yeah. So when you feel like you're walking on eggshell, you deal with that part. What's coming up inside? What's coming up inside you? So, and then what's coming up with them? They are angry. That's their business, really. Certainly, you're not the cause of their anger. You're not. Are you doing anything wrong that's offensive to them?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So it may not be about you, that part. Right? So when you see people that are just angry, it's not your job to make them not angry. But if you are affected, it's your job to deal with what's coming up within you. Why am I so affected by this, such that I have to modify my behavior, which stresses me out, keep on having to kind of careful to dance around them so they don't get offended. And ordinary mind. Because the reality is, the more we are a little bit unnatural because we must be doing something wrong, then they become kind of unnatural. So if you're at peace with yourself, whatever they're doing doesn't affect you, right? When you're at peace, then they will start to mirror you, actually. So deal with what's coming up within. Do I have to? Why do I feel like it's up to me to make them feel better? There's something there. There's something there to look at. Is that a tendency among me to always oblige to make other people feel better? What is that? Put it down. Put it down. Whatever's coming up, expose, embrace, take ownership. Why do I feel like this? Where does it come from? And then transform, change it. Experiment with it. Experiment. Have some fun with it. Like, is it at work? Is at work, right? Okay, so if it's partly, so like tomorrow, that's a good opportunity. Tomorrow, experiment, right? Don't dance on eggshells. You go into the workspace like you enter Tallahassee Chant Center. You bow in your heart. Don't make it obvious. People think you're strange. You're like bowing, right? You go into it. This is a retreat. A retreat. You go into it. Relax. Ground. Engage. Things come up. See it. Don't be oblivious to it. Put it down like a wandering thought. You're at peace. At peace. And then you relate to them. See if they mirror you. You go in there, smile. See if you go in there, just make sure you relax. In the elevator or before you get into that workspace, relax. Gentle smile. Good morning. And then go. Like that. You take them as practice. They show you aspects of yourself. Things that come up, they're empty. Based on the prajnaparamita, things that come up, empty. What is it? Things that you see, as if they're, as if not there. Empty. Yet engage. Yeah. Engage like, I don't know, like Eightfold Path. Right speech. Right intention. Are you practicing that? Right? Intention before you speak. Am I reactionary to that? Now I gotta be nice to that? Just relax. Ground. Put it down. What needs to be done should be done. What needs to be said, just say it. Clearly. See? Kind speech. You see? And then when your mind is at peace, settled, scattered minds will follow your mind. When your presence is grounded, this kind of mind is stronger. Experiment tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, give it a try. You can practice loving kindness before, like the drive there, may all beings be free. So you prime your body, heart, mind. Grounded. Things come. Someone used to, this, I don't know, Ajivika or some non-Buddhist path practitioners, scolding the hell out of Shakyamuni Buddha. Just like, went to one of his Dharma talks. The Buddha's just grounded, content. Thank you for your presence. I have no need for the presence, so the presence back to you. The person said, and then he got converted. You know, things that people say, they're ingredients for our practice. So Shakyamuni Buddha, through eons of practice, he's perfected patience. He's perfected being with sentient beings, presenting him with all kind of crap, and he transformed these crap into presence. So he's not saying like us, like, thank you for your garbage, I don't need your vexations. The way he sees that is presence. I have no need for that present. You see the orientation to how he perceives things? See, so there's something to learn. Yeah. So we put it into practice. All the things that you've already learned from, for example, Tani Sorrow. 4 stations of mindfulness, 5 points of stilling the mind, Eightfold Path, correct intention, speech, action, livelihood. All these things, right? Take it to heart. But now add a layer. It's all good. Empty yet full. So, avail yourself to the world. So, all the different things now, before they are things to be abandoned, now they are all opportunities to strengthen your practice. You know, and then you may see new things, new perspective of why people are behaving this way. Before, I have to do something about it. No. When you put yourself down, you see that nothing to do with it. They're having a bad day or a good day or all kinds of reasons why. You can respond. You can even transform such that you can rebuild that relationship so that when they are vexed, they can come to you because you're the only one person in that workspace that's not reactive, that's actually can practice deep listening to them. So they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel cared for. Not because you have to actively care for them, it's just when they're with you, they feel seen, like you're actually present, not like absent-minded, like it's just not there. You're actually there with them. And you're grounded. They will start to mirror you. They'll feel at peace when it's around you. So whatever you feel inside, put it down. Put it down. Embrace it, put it down. And then practice. Starting tomorrow. Starting tomorrow. The next time I see you, you should keep a journal actually. Day 1 attempt. October 22nd. Right? Because it may not happen like that, change like that. After a week of your practice like that, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, you will see differences. And you will discover insights about yourself. That's Dharma practice. Okay? Yeah, give it a try. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. Okay, so the whole orientation to the Bodhisattva practice, its relationship to other people, to this cesspool of ours, is very different. It's no longer a cesspool. This is the arena playground. This is the playground through which I perfect patient, kshanti paramita, perfection of patience. You know, everyone have trigger points, including myself. Including myself. You know, certain things doesn't bother me, but there's one thing, like when I see it, that gets to me. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Right? So it's like every one of us. So that's where I practice. You know. And why is it like that? Because each one of us have different history growing up, different learning, different rearing process, relationship, the way that we relate to parents, friends, our environment is very different. So it shapes us a particular way. Take ownership to that, right? And then untangle them. Untangle them through the lens of emptiness. Already free. It's all good, yet I untangle. Already untangled, yet untangle. Like that. Yeah. It seems paradoxical, but it's not. It's actually that paradox, that kind of logic, come from prajnaparamita. Like the Heart Sutra. Not this, not that. That's empty too. Therefore, again, realize Bodhi Svaha, realize annuttara-samyak-sambodhi. It's everywhere in prajnaparamita. It's all good, keep going. Anyone online? Questions?
So there's a conversation going on Zoom about came from one person having a hard day at work. They have jury duty, they're feeling anxious, and when they hear the phrase "put it down," it doesn't really help them. So it seems like something that you have to do. It's frustrating, feeling guilty to not do it. So other people are offering other phrases like "let it be," relax.
Yeah. It's all good. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when the stress is escalating to a particular crescendo, you can't go with the teachings, the path of words. The path of words, which is usually people just recite some teachings, cite Guo Gu, got this passage from the sutra, those things right out the window. You have to try to just feel it in the body. Right? So the mind faculty is churning. You can't use other abstract notions, concept, idea, try to deal with it. It doesn't work like that. So you got to amplify other sense faculties, like the body faculty. Just embody experience, relax into the feel. Right? What's beyond the things that's coming up? At first, it may be just concept, notions, flashback from the jewelry experience, the long day, things that happen, snapshots, memory. Relax into a more experience, embody. Take it in the body. Then you'll start to see what's not really these kind of snapshots, images, words that you've heard during the day. It's actually energy behind them. And what carries with them are feeling tones associated with these words and images. What are these feeling tones? You can't think your way through it. What you have to do is just actually feel them. Surrender. Surrender. Open everything and allow them to be. Beneath that, there's another layer. It's just like this tension, these feeling tones behind them. Maybe lodged in different parts of the body. Keep going. Beneath that, it's just energy you start to feel. Stagnant energies, impulses. Keep going. Embody, experiencing. Beneath that, it's just vibrations. Beneath that, even more things. And if you keep going, you just relax. Then you'll fall asleep. Before you know it, you're relaxed. Next day, you wake up. It's all good, actually. But even if you don't fall asleep, if you just relax into that, you see that the experiences are so rich, and it runs its own course without you need to be there. And the takeaway is nothing can break you. Nothing. That resilience is the function of wisdom. Empty, yet present. Right? If you resort to some notions and ideas, then you'll break. You'll collapse, psychosis, neuroses, depression pills, all kinds. You'll break. If you just relax, allow it to go through, expose, layer by layer, allow it to flow through you without drawing conclusions, without reifying. You're in the principle of non-attachment. Allow that to flow through. Wisdom is at the foundation. You believe that? Now, even the early text, Nikaya, the Agamas, someone asked the Buddha, what's the basis of desire? Basis of desire is grasping. What's the basis of grasping? Grasping is different forms. At the very end, what's the basis of all that? Liberation. That's what the Buddha said. It sounds really Mahayana. It actually sounds like Chan. You see? So the teachings of later Mahayana teaching in Chan actually has foundation. What's the basis of desire? What? You're going to abandon that, right? What's the basis of that? Liberation, its basis. That's the early way of expressing it. Right? Modern way of expressing it, you're already free. Practice with freedom as the foundation. This can be found in the early teaching as well. Yeah. Connie Sorrow translated that text. Access the insight. You see? So it's all there. It's all there. What is the original face? What is the truth? What is reality? Reality is free. Liberation. Isn't that great? I'll dig up the text. Yeah. On the YouTube, when we have the text describing, put the text there. So practice based on freedom. As long as we don't reify, draw conclusions, there's no need to put down. Your true nature is put down. So it's not like something I had to do to put down. Oh, it's so heavy, I gotta put it down. No. You just practice according to your true nature. Your true nature is moment to moment to moment put down. Already free. Freedom. So the method that I teach just now is just relaxing into that, your true nature. You may go through different layers. First it's just rumination, all these memories going back, the physiological feel of the long day, stress. Beneath that is just energy. Beneath energy is just vibrations. Beneath vibration is just openness. It's just flow. What's beneath that? Freedom. See? Yeah.
What you just said, is that the nature of sunyata itself?
Yeah. If you put it to words, you can say, use words to describe it. Freedom. Yeah. So the Prajnaparamita has its own cluster of words to describe it. They use words like inconceivability, unfathomability, unattainability. So they tend to put things in the negative, right? So apophatic language. Not this, not that, not this, not that, not that. Put it cataphatically, positively, freedom. See, just that genre of text. Use this kind of language for it. Don't get caught up with the language. It's the meaning that's most important. See? So, the takeaway, put down, pick up. What is put down and pick up? Well, that's prajna. What's prajna? Prajna is your true nature. Prajna is you. Your prajna. Don't resort to ignorance, vexation. That's not your true nature. Right? Your true nature is free. So when vexations come, gone, gone, gone beyond, completely gone beyond. Bodhi, awakening. Goodbye. Svaha. Right? Don't recite it to suppress some thoughts. Recite it to remind you of your freedom. Right? This mantra is not a mantra for worldly attainment, manipulation of power, like the early Tantra teaching. This mantra is the mantra of liberation. It's the truth of liberation, that you're free. Okay? All right. Okay.